They did it again. Germany lose to Spain in the knockouts of a major international competition. I hate the Spanish so much. They're too good. They're just better than the Germans whenever they play them. I don't know what it is about Germany and their inability to beat the Mediterranean teams, whether it's Italy or Spain, in a major competition, but it's getting really maddening. Welcome to another episode of Peak Ballers. I'm your host, Albert. Sorry for that little freak out, but today I'm going to recap the Spain-Germany match of the quarterfinals at Euro 2024. Pretty incredible match, guys. I mean, end-to-end action, goes to extra time, and right when we think we're going to go to penalties, what happens? Freaking Dani Olmo with the beautiful curling cross into the box. Mikel Merino does his best. Miroslav Klose impression rises highest. Puts that ball on the top corner, Manuel Neuer no chance, and sends Toni Kroos to an early retirement. I mean, what's more disappointing for me as a Germany fan is the fact that I think Germany could have absolutely won this game if they had started the right players. I like Julian Nagelsmann as a manager. I think he's talented and quite young, but I think he's very stubborn. I think he thinks he's smarter than everyone else, and he has to prove it, which results in him doing some stupid tinkering to his lineups in important games. For example, today's starting lineup, Germany benched Robert Andrich and played Emre Can in the CDM role. Emre Can was a last-minute addition to this German team. He would not have been in the squad if Alexander Pavlovich had not gotten his tonsils removed before the tournament. Emre Can is a decent player for Borussia Dortmund. He's been playing both the center of the defense and as a CDM, but he's not good enough to start at this level, and he certainly wasn't doing enough to usurp Andrich from the main position next to Toni Kroos. Completely made no sense by Julian Nagelsmann, and you can see at halftime that he knew he made a mistake because he subbed Emre Can off for Andrich. It really pisses me off because I said this before in some of the other videos on this channel that Germany could win this tournament and beat the likes of Spain if they started the right players, and that meant benching Kai Havertz or putting him as the 10 and starting Niklas Füllkrug as the number 9. I don't know what it is about freaking Julian Nagelsmann and his allergy, his refusal to play a proper striker for his team. He did the same thing at Bayern Munich, okay? His first year, he alienates Robert Lewandowski. Lewandowski says, okay, I'm going to fuck off to Barcelona. I'm going to go to Spain, and I'm not going to play for you. So what happens? He gets Sadio Mane and plays him as a false 9. It works for about maybe 3-4 months into the season, and they win the Bundesliga because Dortmund crapped their pants that year, and the Bayern board realized, oh crap, we need a striker. And the Bayern board realized, oh, you know what, we need a striker. And you know what? Oh, maybe we should fire this guy because he's refusing to play the players in their proper positions. He thinks he's smarter than everyone else, and I think we're going to lose the Champions League because of him. Now, was appointing Thomas Tuchel the right decision? No, but I totally see why Julian Nagelsmann was fired, and he's kind of taken a lot of his bad habits of tinkering to the German national team. Julian Nagelsmann, when he was a Bayern manager in his first ever quarterfinal appearance in the Champions League, lost to Villarreal, and he lost mainly because towards the end of the game against Villarreal, he subbed off one of Bayern's center backs, I believe, and put on Alphonso Davies as the left-sided center back, which led to complete disaster. Alphonso Davies is a left back or a winger. He does not play in the center of defense. Julian Nagelsmann thought, I'm smarter than everyone else. I'll play him there and it'll be okay. What happens? Villarreal hits on the break and they eliminate Bayern Munich. What happens against Spain? Julian Nagelsmann thinks he's smarter than everyone else, puts Emre Can and Kai Havertz in the starting lineup when they shouldn't be there. And what happens? Germany wastes a whole half chasing the game. By the time the second half, Niklas Füllkrug came on, it was nice to see that Nagelsmann had rectified his mistakes, but by then it was too late. I think the Germans really got tired, and towards the end of the game, part of the reason why Merino was still free in the box and Olmo was able to put in that cross was because German just didn't have the legs anymore to chase Spain around the park. Really disappointing performance from Julian Nagelsmann. I know a lot of his fanboys are going to be like, oh, well, he brought Germany back to the knockout rounds. Guys, that should be the basic for a nation like Germany. What Hansi Flick did and Jogi Löw is terrorism, okay? And they should be rightfully punished for what they did. But that doesn't mean you put the baby gloves on for Julian Nagelsmann and say, oh, good job, you made it to the corners. No, that's not what this team is about. Minimum every tournament, Germany should be making a semi or final. He didn't do it. He failed. He did call up a lot of good young players that I like, but he didn't make the right lineup decisions, and he was stubborn, and it ultimately cost Germany. Anybody with a brain, a monkey, could see that this German team plays better with a real number 9 at the top of the pitch, and Julian Nagelsmann again says, I'm smarter than everyone. I'm going to play Kai Havertz as a false 9 because his movements are good. What is the point of playing someone like Kai Havertz, even if his movements are good, when he's not finishing? And guys, I love Kai Havertz. I'm wearing his jersey right now, but he's not a striker. He's never been a striker. He wasn't a striker at Leverkusen when he was balling out. Premier League managers, for some reason, keep playing him as the 9, and he gets shit from fans because he's not playing in his natural position. I don't know what it is about these managers like Pep Guardiola and Julian Nagelsmann. I'm not saying they're trash managers or they're not geniuses. They are geniuses. But you don't have to be smarter than everyone else and tinker and do some revolutionary thing to win. You just have to sometimes just play the guys in the right position. Football is a simple game. You win by putting more goals into the net than the opposing team. I don't care who it is, unless you're Lionel Messi. There are very few national teams and club teams in this world that play well without a recognized striker. And until these coaches who make millions of dollars recognize that, I will keep saying it until the day I die. But you know what? Full credit to Spain. They have been top to bottom the best team in this entire tournament. Maybe they did get a little lucky today, but I think they should win it if they get past France, which is a big if. But the Spanish should be proud of their team. They're not playing that terrorist tiki-taka boring football, death by 1,000 cuts anymore. And I think with young players like obviously Yamal, and Nico Williams, the Spanish team was going to be good for years to come, and they are going to be a problem for Germany. And I actually think that there's a good chance they meet Germany again in the knockout rounds of the 2026 World Cup. And Nagelsmann will still be the manager at the 2026 World Cup, and he better redeem himself because the game against Spain was totally winnable. It's just so frustrating watching these managers make these boneheaded decisions when we can clearly see as fans on TV what the right decision is, and they don't do it because they think they're smarter than everyone else. Now, when it comes to some of the players, guys, I really like Antonio Rudiger. He's a good passer. He's a winner. He's got lots of passion. He's a troll. He's funny. But there are times when he makes incredibly boneheaded mistakes that cost his team, and that's what happened against Spain. There's no way that Marino should be that open in the middle of the box. I don't care if you're tired. His defending on that last goal was totally shambolic, and it's absolutely his fault that they lost the game towards the end. But mistakes happen. At the end of the day, I think I still place more blame on Nagelsmann. Some of the other guys who played, I think Manuel Neuer had a great tournament. Unfortunately, he is 38, which means I think he won't be at the 2026 World Cup. I don't really necessarily trust Marc-Andre ter Stegen for the national team. He's always had a lot of mistakes in him, but I think he's waited a long time for his turn, and I would still initially give him the net for now. Thomas Muller, a great international and club career. You can see towards the end of the game when he came on that his brain was still there, but I think his legs were gone. This will definitely be his last international match for the national team. Probably retire at the end of next season with Bayern Munich. Thank you for your service, but it's time to move you on. Ilkay Gundogan, guys. I'm not going to disrespect him. He's a very good club player. He was a fantastic player for Man City, fantastic at Dortmund, and he's been good for Barcelona. But for some reason or another, he's never been a good fit on the German national team. When he was coming up in the national team, I believe at the time, his path was blocked by the likes of Bastian Schweinsteiger, Sami Khedira. And then after Schweinsteiger and Khedira kind of leveled off, Toni Kroos kind of took his place. You know, Gundogan is not a number 10. He's a 6/8 who likes to play a little deeper and get forward. The fact that Julian Nagelsmann allowed him to stay the captain of this team meant that he had to put him in the starting lineup, and he had to put him in a position on the field as the number 10 that did not suit him. And as you can see, Gundogan was totally useless against Spain, got subbed off pretty early in the match. But again, this all goes back to the manager. And I think that Nagelsmann deserves credit for, yes, getting Germany out of the dumps, but he does not deserve credit for this knockout round and the stubborn decisions that he made. I don't think this team will win the World Cup. I don't think they have the manager to do it. Again, that's not to say I think Nagelsmann is trash, but I think he really has to mature as a manager and stop being so stubborn, or else he's never going to win a major trophy. Now, was that handball from Marco Cucurella a penalty? I think, unfortunately, the handball law is so convoluted. It's like we don't know what a penalty is because it's really up to the referee's discretion. Sometimes we see borderline handballs that are given as penalties, and sometimes you see blatant handballs that aren't given. The rule clearly states that it has to be an unnatural position. Obviously, Cucurella's hand at the time when the ball hit him was in a somewhat natural position. He definitely didn't hit it on purpose. But you could have said the same thing of Joachim Andersen when Germany got a penalty against Denmark. Granted, I know Andersen's arms were up like this, which isn't as natural as putting him down. But still, there just needs to be a better, more consistent standard applied. I see why Germany was pissed, although I still think they should have finished some of the other chances that they had in the game as well. And you know what? Füllkrug shouldn't be absolved for missing a few headers in the box. But again, if he had started for the whole 90 minutes and he had 90 minutes to stay on the pitch, I think he probably would have scored at least one goal because he was terrorizing the Spanish defense when he came on. Nevertheless, it is what it is. Julian Nagelsmann is the man until 2026, and while I hope he makes better decisions, I don't know. With these geniuses, the stubbornness sometimes gets the better of them. and I fear for Germany, but at least they made it to knockout rounds. All right, guys, that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.